had many ideas about what I want to be when I grow up since I was a little girl. Maybe a princess or a doctor, but as I've gotten older, I found a better fit for my future. I come from a rural community where not most kids in high school have decided what they want to be when they grow up. But I'm not like most kids. Starting at childhood, I got to go to school with one of my biggest role models, attend my favorite camps, and at last, I figured out what my dream is. Let me start by telling you a little bit about how it began. I come from a very close-knit family. There's 15 members in my family, and all of us are extremely close. I actually happen to live with one of my aunts and two of my cousins. I grew up living with my father and grandmother and attending a private school. When the time came for high school, I decided to move in with my aunt, who lived in the district of the local high school. All of my friends from the private school I attended were going to this high school, Community R6. My cousin, who was a junior at the time, was attending Community also. My cousin Courtney became one of my best friends. She was like an older sister to me. We did everything together my freshman year. She was my role model, and I aspired to be like her. In fact, I still do. When the summer of 2015 rolled around, she asked me if I wanted to go to a camp she had attended before, Camp Barnabas. The picture in front of me is a picture of Inspiration Point at Camp Barnabas in Purdy, Missouri. Camp Barnabas is a place for people with disabilities. It also happens to be the place where I figured out what I want to do with my life. When my cousin asked me if I wanted to go to camp with her, I said yes very quickly. When I got to camp, I found out that I wasn't going to get to be a missionary, which is when you get a camper for yourself and spend the week with them, but a barnstormer. Barnstormers clean. A lot. Except for the part of the day when we got to hang out with the campers and their missionaries. That's when I realized why camp is so great. Living with a disability can give you so many reasons to be mad at the world or depressed. I've seen this firsthand. My dad lives with a disability every day. My father was born 100% deaf and mute, which is why for the second year I went to camp as a missionary, I attended a week with blind and deaf campers. The week I went for blind and deaf people is called Soaring Hawks. My camper was completely deaf with cerebral palsy. After my week with my camper was over, I knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. She had also had a rough home life, she had been abused, and lives in a group home now. She was also one of the sweetest, happiest people I've ever met. When I get older, I want to major in Children and Family Social Services, with a minor in interpreting. Seeing how much my dad loves to talk to people, but can't because of his disability, makes me want to be an interpreter. But when I saw how happy my camper was, even after all she had been through, made me want to give that joy to children that have had a rough home life and try to give them the best life possible. I moved to the same school as my role model in 3rd grade, and from that stemmed so many great opportunities. I may only be 16 years old, but I know what I want to do for the rest of my life and what career path I want to follow. Camp Barnabas has really shaped my future, but more than that, it's become my happy place.